Scott Fitterer and Frank Reich, you get the owner too involved in the evaluation of the quarterback. You better be sure you're staying a step ahead of where the boss is leaning. And if you think the boss may end up liking a guy that you may want to shy away from, you better watch everything you say about the guy that the boss may fall in love with. You better tell everybody in the organization, don't say any good things about the guy that the boss may be wanting us to draft because we're leaning another way. So let's control where the boss is going. Hey, that's a real dynamic. We know it's happened before, and the more that the boss is there, I mean, why would the owner be at a pro day workout? What does David Tepper know about evaluating a quarterback? Why would he be there? Hey, he's allowed to be there. He's the owner.
He is. That's right.
That's where it becomes delicate.
Yeah, sure.
Managing what the boss will just casually say. I really like the kid from Ohio State. I really like the kid from Alabama. I really like, oh, hey, I saw Chris Simms say Anthony Richardson has superstar potential. Don't we really need a superstar here? You just got to be careful when the guy who writes the checks and holds the equity is the one who is involved and throwing that stuff out there.
Yeah, no question. But I love that he is there. I do. I don't look at it as bad. I haven't heard any stories of him crossing the line of like, whoa, crazy owner yet. He obviously loves it. He wants to be a part of the process. Hopefully he's learning. He's hearing these guys talk about the differences of all of it. It's the biggest decision, they've had since David Tepper's been the owner, let alone they made the biggest move to get here, that in the David Tepper era to trade up from 9-1. So, okay, that's cool. He's there. He's going to watch it in person. What a great opportunity they have. I mean, the fact that they get to go CJ Stroud yesterday, jump on the private plane, and see Bryce Young less than 24 hours later, why the thought of CJ Stroud and seeing him live and in color is still fresh in your brain, and now you get to go, wait, here's the other guy that we're thinking about taking at number one, because at the end of the day, it's going to be Stroud or Bryce Young. I'm sure they're going to keep it open with all four of these guys. But, man, anybody else is risky and I think almost political suicide, career suicide, if it doesn't work out with the other guys. But that's a great opportunity. And then Levis the day after that, tomorrow. So they're going to get to see 3 of the top 4 quarterbacks here in most people's rankings and get to see them back to back to back and really measure them out and get a better feel for what they like and who impressed physically at this pro day.
We've become completely desensitized to it, but I want to make this point.
Yeah.
Because it is, and it's one of the things that fascinates me about the NFL. You have highly successful people like David Tepper who have earned billions of dollars. Everything he has ever touched in his life has literally turned to gold. The guy is worth $17 billion and counting at any given moment. So these and they why do they buy a football team? Because they're football fans. It's not now it is a hell of an investment. It's a constantly appreciating asset. But a lot of these guys get involved in owning sports teams because they're football fans. So I've been highly successful at everything I've ever done in my life. I'm smart. I know what I'm doing. And I watch football. I've been watching football my whole life. I think I know how the game works. It looks easy. I play fantasy football. So I buy a football team and I start showing up at pro day workouts. And I start walking into the draft room. And I start giving input to the people who have spent their whole lives while I was making all my money in something completely different than football. These are the people who have spent their lives perfecting their craft. And an example I thought of, how would we react to the idea that a guy like David Tepper makes billions in something completely unrelated to the movies? But hey, I've been going to movies my whole life. I like movies. I enjoy watching movies. I'm going to buy a movie studio. And I'm going to start showing up on set, telling the director how to direct the movie and the editors how to edit the movie, and just being around, offering input and advice. It doesn't make sense, but it happens all the time in the NFL. And I love it. It creates additional intrigue and drama, and how far does the owner go, and what do you have to say to tiptoe around him? So Tepper clearly is involved. He understands the stakes here. The sweet spot is finding the balance to support your guys.
That's right.
But still let the ones who are the experts make the final decision.
Yeah.
Uninfluenced by your own personal beliefs.
Right. And that's the sense I've gotten, even just, talking to people who have been around Carolina a little bit. is that, yeah, he'll throw his thoughts out there, but it's not like he throws it out there and is like, nope, this is what we're doing. I'm the owner. You can talk to him and logically explain things. And no, I hear you. Listen, I know a few billionaires in my life.
You don't have to say that if you're the owner.
No, I know.
Yeah, you don't. That's one of it's the billionaire's privilege. You don't have to say go do it. You just make it clear by the things you say you like and the things you say you don't like. The questions you raise. Every question you raise has a message in it. And the smart people around you, if they truly are smart, will get the message. There's a subtlety and a nuance that billionaires operate with. Not that I can relate to.
I don't know if it's that subtle. I think
just,
they kind of just say it, and you gotta
get used to being in that world.
Yeah,
you get used to everybody catering. The example I always use, it's in Playmakers. If the owner of an NFL team, multi-billionaire, walks through the front door, whatever facility he or she owns, and there's a bowl of candy, and it's the Steinbrenner Stromboli from Costanza in Seinfeld when Costanza's got a Stromboli. Well, bring Costanza, bring Steinbrenner a Stromboli every freaking day. So that when the boss says he likes something, you better be paying attention and cater everything you do to what the boss likes. Anyway, we'll see. And we may never get the full story, but it's just something to keep an eye on because at some point you got to let the people you've hired make this call, even if it goes against what you would do if you were the one making the call. And you got to edit yourself so you don't say something around Frank Reich or Scott Fitter that makes them think that's what you want them to do.
Yeah.
Because if it all blows up, it's easy to say, hey, boss, this is what you wanted us to do. It gives you cover. Some coaches and executives may like it. Hey, why did it go sideways? Well, you wanted us to do it. The problem is you're still the one that pays.
Yeah, you're going to get fired. Exactly right.
Yeah. They said Jimmy Haslam found a way to blame Johnny Manziel on somebody else, even though it was Jimmy Haslam all the time wanting Johnny Manziel. And if Jerry Jones had gotten Johnny Manziel like he wanted him, he would have blamed somebody else if it had all blown up. All right, CJ Stroud, much better, hopefully, than Johnny Manziel. I don't know if you saw any of the throwing session. We saw enough of it from the scouting combine, though. I doubt the pro day is going to be any different when you're in a more favorable setting. There's that release, that quick release, and it helps to have some great receivers running the routes, including Marvin Harrison Jr., who's not eligible yet for the draft and will be one of the top guys we're talking about next year. But Stroud looking pretty good, Chris.
Stroud it's effortless. I mean, it really is. And, what was cool about this setting as compared to the combine is, and that was probably his worst ball of the day right there. It's one of the only balls he threw that wasn't a perfect spiral. But, where this is cool compared to the combine is he gets to get in a little rhythm, and you get to throw a variety of routes to where you start to feel yourself and, go, let's go, instead of the combine where it's just like, hey, I threw 2 balls. Now I go to the back of the line, and I wait for, 10 minutes before I throw my next football. But again, the guy's a machine throwing the football. I think that's why you got to like him. And you could see there the athleticism, the footwork, it's all it's much better than he's given credit for. And when you really dive into the tape, you realize, whoa, the guy's a good athlete. He is. He just hasn't, gotten to that part of his development yet, a little bit like we talk about with quarterbacks in the NFL. Hey, get out of the pocket, run here, play a little backyard football. He's got it there. He does it. It's an area that he could get better at, sure. And that's also why I like him, because I think there's a little untapped potential there. But, man, mechanically he's perfect. The release is extremely quick, and it actually looks like it's getting quicker as he starts to learn and work with quarterback coaches more and more. And then, Mike, I think the thing that just jumps out to me is how effortless it is to throw 40-yard post corner, 20-yard out route. He can just do it. It's like a Tom Brady can, to where you go, it doesn't look like he's really trying that hard, but then when you're there in person and you go, man, is that ball moving? So that's where I really like him. He's not a high-effort thrower. He's smooth, and I really think this kid's got it all, and I will, like I said, be shocked if he's not the number 1 pick.
What? And we talked about this the other day when we went over your rankings, but it's appropriate to raise it again. Biggest concern, question mark, whatever it is that he would need to address that could potentially cause him to not be the first overall pick. When he's hanging out in Carolina, when he goes there for his visit and he's playing horse with Josh McCown, what is the thing that they want to erase that could potentially be a negative?
I don't think there's anything where you go, ooh, this is a real negative, right? He's an unbelievable decision maker. I mean, sees the field to point where you rewind plays and you go, man, how did he see that quickly to adjust to go to 1 to 2 and throw a ball appropriately over a linebacker and underneath the safety and put right there and just make the decision like he didn't even think about it. I think the thing is just expanding what he can do, Mike. That's the big thing. And I think that goes back again to the conversation. The only negative I could come away with is, hey, get out of the pocket here. The hell with the number 3 read. Make a move, get out, run, get out of the pocket, buy some more time so you can make a throw. There's some of that you want more. That's so relevant and necessary in the 2023 NFL. That's where there's an untapped potential. But to me, it's a pretty easy fix. If that's all the things we got to worry about, that's one where as he continues to play and Frank Reich and McCown and people give him things to think about and little, thought process like you saw Brian Daboll do for a Daniel Jones this year, I just think that's where this guy could be a really, really special football player when he puts all that together.
But don't we I know that he wants to use his athleticism more, and I know that the best quarterbacks right now use it. But isn't it good that he's wired to not do it?
Yes. You're
already wired. He doesn't have to make the transition late in his 20s. He's already wired that way.
That's what that's what I mean. The part we're talking about is an easy fix, and he's got all the things you really, really want, Yeah, at the end of the day, he's never going to be the guy that's just going to, run around the edge for 40 yards and do that. That's not what he is. No, that's why you want him, because you're going, oh my gosh, every throw is high level. Every throw is accurate and on point. Whoa, he can get the ball out quickly. He can throw off his back leg with pressure in his face. He's got touch. He can flick it, and just get it out of his hand and throw the ball 50 yards. So you're exactly right. He's got all the hard parts and does more than checks the box. I mean, it's like, whoa, A+ in this department, A+ in this department. So that's where I don't look at him and go, ooh, there's a negative here or anything like that. People too, Mike, they bring up the Ohio State quarterback. I'd never draft one. What does quarterbacks drafted from Ohio State 20 years ago have to do with this guy right here with this team? Has nothing to do with it. I would never draft a quarterback from Texas Tech. Never. Oh, wait, it's Patrick Mahomes? I'll draft him every year. I mean, come on. Don't fall into these narratives that people are talking about. Oh, people are wide open. That's the other thing I hear. Okay, yeah, there's some open people, but damn, they throw the ball almost every play. He throws the ball into plenty tight coverages. Watch the Michigan game. Watch the Penn State game. Watch the Georgia game. I mean, these are some of the best teams in college football. You think people were wide open in those games? Absolutely not. So, there's some narratives out there that are just lazy, in my opinion, a little. But, damn, Mike, you said it right. He's got everything you want as far as if you want a pocket, passing, great decision-making, pinpoint power thrower. Damn, that's CJ Stroud.
And if we are looking to support the idea of drafting a quarterback from Ohio State in CJ Stroud, there is one quarterback from Ohio State that would be at the top of the list. The only problem is he had to transfer before he got a chance to play.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
He's a quarterback from Ohio State that worked out pretty well. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.